At the very center of Oklahoma, where dusty highways stretch toward tranquil sunsets and small towns still treat visitors as if they were family, a fresh story of generosity began to spread throughout the state. This time, it wasn't a single that topped the charts or a moment that was seen on television. Rather, it was acts of compassion that made headlines. He is a proud son of Oklahoma, and his wife, pop icon Gwen Stefani, stepped forward during one of the most difficult times for local families by donating $150,000 to help fuel food banks and support neighbors who are facing hunger. Blake Shelton is a proud Oklahoman. Their act of kindness was not simply a check made by celebrities. Rather, it was a statement to every parent who is suffering, every volunteer who is overburdened, and every child whose most fundamental need is to be fed. You matter. You are observed. There is no forgetting of you. What caused a wave of need to emerge in the first place? In a time when food banks in Oklahoma were experiencing an unprecedented amount of stress, the donation arrived at the perfect moment. The termination of the longest closure of the federal government in the history of the United States had just taken place, causing shockwaves to spread throughout communities, particularly in households with lower incomes that rely on SNAP benefits to make it through the month. Suddenly, thousands of individuals who relied on those food stamps found themselves in a state of limbo. They watched the pantry run out of food, checking mailbox after mailbox and waiting for support to come back. Despite the fact that benefits were reinstated in November, the detrimental effects on finances continued. Numerous families from the working class were still attempting to recover from the effects of missed paychecks, late bills, and shattered budgets. A post-crisis rise was anticipated by food banks, which were already operating at a reduced capacity. Boxes were packed at an unprecedented rate by volunteers. The delivery of emergency supplies was carried out by trucks passing through rural regions. Volunteers were unable to replace shelves that had previously been stocked with canned beans and pasta because they had been emptied out. Thousands of people were relying on the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma, which was fighting a war against the passage of time and the need for food. While the United States of America was attempting to return to political normalcy, Oklahoma was still in the process of rebuilding. Every single contribution, no matter how modest, is important at times like these. However, what Blake and Gwen did was not a little matter. Rather, it was a matter of life and death. A present that has its origins in the house. The state of Oklahoma is more than just the place where Blake Shelton was born. It is an integral element of his identity. Growing up in Ada, Oklahoma, Blake was a boy from Oklahoma who felt the pulse of life in a tiny town long before he became famous, became the chair of The Voice, and became the center of attention in Hollywood. He is aware of the pain that comes with adversity, the comfort that comes from the support of the community, and the resilience of regular people. His musical compositions are brimming with essence. And it is via Blake that Gwen, who did not grow up in Oklahoma, has developed a deep affection for the state. The majority of the couple's time is spent on their ranch, where they are surrounded by cattle, farms, and neighbors who live their lives with indomitable determination and thankfulness. Their love story developed further in these peaceful environs, and Gwen discovered a second home that she had never anticipated finding. By working together, they made the decision to give back in the most meaningful way possible, not through a glitzy press conference or a staged performance, but rather through the provision of something that is actually therapeutic: food. The Regional Food Bank was able to enhance distribution, refill emergency shelters, support rural pantries, and ensure that families did not go to sleep hungry during the Thanksgiving season as a result of their donation of $150,000. In the state of Oklahoma, where food poverty frequently strikes hardest in the most forgotten regions of the state, that money became a force, one that gave hope with a sack of potatoes or a box of cereal. Food banks are the unsung heroes of the fight against hunger. Volunteers from hundreds of different organizations make up the beating heart of the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma, which functions like a giant living organism. The circulation of food is analogous to the flow of oxygen. It is donated, sorted, packed, and delivered. There are retired instructors standing shoulder to side with teens who are in need of volunteer hours. There are pastors praying over boxes. And there are single mothers silently wiping tears of relief as they pick up groceries that will feed their children during the week. All of these things take place at this spot. Without a sense of hopelessness, the atmosphere within this warehouse is thick with a sense of purpose. Volunteers frequently do not know the names of the persons they are assisting, but they continue to provide assistance anyway. The task is not about charity for them. Rather, it is about dignity. It is about re-establishing equilibrium in areas where inequality has caused some damage. The contribution of $150,000 did more than just replenish the shelves. It also strengthened trust. Volunteers were reminded that they were not fighting alone as a result of this. By doing so, it gave families the impression they had not been abandoned by the structure. A community that is deeply entrenched in the concept that food is a human right and not a luxury was strengthened as a result of this. What happens when the power of platform and the power of purpose meet? It is possible that Blake Shelton may receive cameras and acclaim for his performance at the Grammy Awards or for his role as a guest on The Voice. But the event that took place here has a different kind of significance. It is tranquil, long-lasting. It's true. He is not requesting that his followers celebrate him. Rather, he is hoping that they will join him in doing so. And a great number of them have already. Every family in Oklahoma who hears this story remembers this one thing. When circumstances were tough, someone chose to stand with them, not from a distance, but from the heart. This is something that is remembered by every person who shares the post from the food bank, every person who reposts the news, and every family in Oklahoma. In addition, Gwen, a woman who is frequently lauded for her dress, her music, and her renowned voice, shone just as brightly in this situation, not through glamour but through compassion. It was not for a theatrical performance, but rather for a humanitarian effort. Their contribution consisted of more than just monetary value. Influence was being utilized in the appropriate manner, making humble use of one's fame. One that is being focused toward persons who frequently experience feelings of being invisible, effects that can be seen throughout the state. As the news spread like wildfire, radio hosts lauded the decision, food banks in neighboring towns were inspired, and regular Oklahomans had a revitalized feeling of hope. People pay attention to what celebrities have to say. However, when they give modestly and with significance, people take action. Plans for food drives were initiated by proprietors of local businesses. The teachers discussed the issue of hunger awareness with the children. In the beginning, churches started included more items in their weekly donation baskets, while others simply decided to provide whatever they were able to. The donation of this star was more than just a star, it became a spark. More than just a charitable organization, it's home. There is a link between Blake Shelton and Oklahoma, which is the reason why this story feels different. It is not glamorous in the sense that stories from Hollywood are romanticized. It has integrity. It stems from recollections, the bonds of family, and the satisfaction of coming back to one's hometown to give something back. Not only is he a country singer who is making headlines, but he is also a neighbor who is helping neighbors. And Gwen, despite the fact that she was born and raised in California, has shown genuine affection for this region. In any situation, whether she is performing love songs on stage or wearing boots in the barn, she always shows up with a lot of heart. Her contribution communicates a more profound truth. Home is not the place where you are born, but rather the place that you choose to love. This year, Thanksgiving is more significant than ever before. This year, Thanksgiving was not going to be a feast for many families in Oklahoma. Rather, it was going to be a reminder of what they had lost. Due to the fact that paychecks were delayed, pantries were emptied, and SNLEP payouts were unknown, it appeared that celebration was impossible. Afterward, the trucks arrived, the pantries that are stocked. It is the whole bags. It is a relief. For the simple reason that someone remembered them, meals were served at kitchen tables all around the state of Oklahoma. Due to the fact that someone refused to let hunger to consume yet another vacation. Due to the fact that Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani were concerned, even though there were no cameras, no audience, and no expectations. What makes charity so effective is not the amount of money given, but rather the idea behind it. An endowment of generosity. It is not the first time that Blake and Gwen have stood in for other people, and it is not going to be the final time that they do so. Their philanthropy represents the same attitude that has always been present in their relationship, which has always been characterized by an uncommon sincerity. This narrative stands out in a world that is frequently dominated by the cacophony of celebrities. It is not about two stars working together to give money. Rather, it is about comprehending what it means to be a part of something that is more significant than oneself. It is about bridging the gap between the realms of fame and farm life, the spotlight and the silence, and the state of Oklahoma and Los Angeles. Making a good choice is essential. To summarize, this is more than just a donation, it is a simple reminder of our common humanity. In an era when many headlines are divisive, this one brings people together. This serves as a reminder that despite the fact that a person may become famous or affluent, they still have the ability to exhibit compassion and humility in their actions. Additionally, it serves as a reminder that hunger does not go away when the news cycle is over. It serves as a reminder that healing from a crisis is painfully slow but not impossible. And most significantly, it serves as a reminder that kindness is still there in the world, both in large and small ways, and that it can occasionally come at the very moment when we require it the most, as hope.